Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I will be showing you how to crochet a turtle. If you have never crocheted before, I would recommend checking out my beginner tutorials that I've linked below. I've also linked in the description the PDF pattern and the crochet kit for this toy. So now let's get started. We will first begin by making the shell, so we will be beginning in brown yarn. Create a slip knot and chain twice. Then insert your hook into the second chain and single crochet 6 times into the second chain. This will be our magic ring. If you've never made a magic ring before, I would definitely recommend checking out my beginner tutorial in my beginner playlist. Pull the tail gently and now you have made your magic ring. Now we will be increasing into each stitch of the magic ring, and this will give us 12 stitches in our round. Just a reminder that the number in brackets represents the number of stitches that you should have once you have finished a particular step. So for the next round we will be single crocheting in the next stitch and then increasing in the next, repeating this 6 times overall to give you 18 stitches. So single crochet in the first stitch and then increase in the next stitch. And again, single crochet, and then increase in the next, repeating this 6 times overall. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next 2 stitches and then increasing in the next. So single crochet once, and then another time in the second stitch, and then increase in the third stitch. And again, single crochet in the next stitch, and then increase, repeating this 6 times overall. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next 3 stitches and then increasing in the next stitch. So single crochet once, and a second time, and a third time, and then increase in the fourth. And again, increase in the first stitch, a second stitch, and the third, and then increase in the fourth. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next 4 stitches and then increasing in the next. So single crochet once, twice, 3 times, and then a 4th time, and then increase in the 5th. Repeat this 6 times overall. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then increase. Now we will be single crocheting into each stitch of the round, and we will be doing this for 2 rounds. So I recommend grabbing your stitch marker to help you keep count. Insert your stitch marker just under where your hook is, and then you will be single crocheting into each stitch of the round. So like so, just start single crocheting into each stitch, and you will repeat this for 2 rounds overall. So here I have done my first round of single crochets, and now I'm going to repeat the exact same step and single crochet into each stitch of the round. So now I will have 2 rounds of single crochets. So for the next round we will be single crocheting again, however we will be working in the front loops of the stitch. Now I have included a little diagram on screen of which one is the front and the back, but you will see that each stitch is made up of a little V, and you have a back and a front loop, and we will be inserting our hook into the front loop. So insert your hook into the front loop and single crochet. And again, insert into the front loop and single crochet, and you will be repeating this the whole way round for 1 round. Once you have finished your round, slip stitch in the final stitch. And then take your scissors and cut a tail. Gently pull your hook, and this will finish off the brown part of the shell. You can now remove your stitch marker. Now flip your shell inside out. We are now going to be attaching the green to start the green part of the body. We will be working in this line of stitches, which I'm about to point out with my needle. This is the line that was left over from where we were working in the front loop only. So this will be quite a prominent line, you should be able to see it. So insert your hook, it should be quite easy to get into, and grab your green yarn. We are now going to be attaching the green. So yarn over and pull your green through, and then yarn over again and pull it through. It is now attached. Then insert your hook into the next stitch and single crochet. We will now be single crocheting into each stitch for 1 round, and this is all in green. So for the next round, we will be single crocheting in the next 4 stitches and then decreasing in the next stitch. So single crochet once, twice, a third time and a fourth, and then decreasing. You will be repeating this 6 times overall. For the next round, we will be single crocheting in the next 3 stitches and then decreasing in the next stitch, repeating this 6 times for 24 stitches overall. For the next round, we will be single crocheting in the next 2 stitches and decreasing in the next stitch, repeating this 6 times overall for 18 stitches. Now here is where I recommend to stuff your shell. So grab your stuffing and make sure that you are pushing it far in so that you will have a nice round shape at the top. Once you are done stuffing, we will now be getting back to crocheting. So insert your hook. And for the next round, we will be single crocheting in the next stitch and then decreasing in the next, repeating this 6 times overall for 12 stitches in your round. Now we will be decreasing in each stitch, so you will be repeating this 6 times overall and you will be left with 6 stitches in your round. For some reason I did not record this next part, however, make sure that you have cut your tail before sewing. So insert your yarn tail into the needle, and starting from the closest stitch on the left, you will be inserting your needle into the stitch and pulling through. You will be repeating this 6 times, so into each of the 6 stitches. Once you are done, you are going to very gently pull the tail, and this will close the body shut. Then what you are going to do is you're going to insert your needle into the body and pull through. It doesn't exactly matter where, just as long as you've weaved it through a couple of times, it will make it secure. and then get your scissors and cut the yarn tail. So we will now be making the head. So grab your green yarn and you'll be making a magic ring. If you are not sure how to make a magic ring, I would highly recommend watching my magic ring tutorial, which is in my beginners playlist, which is linked below. So you'll be single crocheting 6 times into your magic ring. Once you have finished your magic ring, you'll be increasing into each stitch. So increasing into each of the 6 stitches of your magic ring. And this should give you 12 stitches in your round once you are finished. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next stitch and then increasing in the next. So single crocheting and then increasing in the next stitch. And again, single crocheting and then increasing in the next, repeating this 6 times overall. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next 2 stitches and then increasing in the next. So single crocheting twice and then increasing, repeating this 6 times overall so that you have 24 stitches in your round. I would recommend inserting your stitch marker here, as we will be doing a couple rounds of single crocheting, and this will help you not lose track. So now we will be single crocheting into each stitch, and we will be doing this for 2 rounds. So single crocheting into each stitch for 2 rounds. For the next round, we will be single crocheting in the next 2 stitches and then decreasing in the next. So single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second, and then decrease. You'll be repeating this 6 times overall for 18 stitches in your round. For the next round, you will be single crocheting in the next stitch and then decreasing in the next, repeating this 6 times overall for 12 stitches in your round. So now you can remove your stitch marker, as we have finished making the head. Now you can cut your yarn. Make sure that you leave a long yarn tail for sewing the head onto the body. Very gently pull your hook to finish off and tie off the head. Now we will be inserting the eyes, and we will be inserting the eyes around 4 stitches apart. So once you have inserted your eyes, just flip the head round and you will grab the backs of your eyes and very gently push them on. You should hear about 2 to 3 clicks when pushing these on. Now you have inserted your eyes, we'll be adding a small amount of stuffing to the head. When adding your stuffing in, make sure that you are getting the stuffing in between the eyes, as sometimes that can be a little bit flat, and this makes sure the head is very round. Now we will be making the front fins, which are the largest two fins on the toy. So again, we will be making a magic ring and single crocheting 6 times into it. Throughout this tutorial, I've been using the chain 2 method. However, you can use any method that you would like. This is just a personal preference and the method that I usually teach to beginners. However, as long as you have 6 single crochets in your magic ring, it doesn't matter what method you use. For the next round, you'll be increasing into each stitch for 12 stitches in your round. For the next round, you will be single crocheting into the next stitch and then increasing into the next, repeating this 6 times overall for 18 stitches in your round. So now you should be left with 18 stitches in your round, and what you'll be doing is you'll be flipping the circle over and just trimming the center tail. Now you will be pinching the sides together and you will now be single crocheting through the opposite stitches. So insert your hook into the bottom stitch and then insert your hook into the top stitch. Then you will be yarning over and pulling through and yarn over and pull through again, and now you have single crocheted these together. So again, insert your hook into the bottom stitch, which I am now pointing out, so you have the bottom stitch and the top stitch. So insert your hook into the bottom stitch and then the top stitch and then single crochet, and this will join the 2 sides of the fin together. Once you are done, you will be now cutting your tail. Make sure that you leave this quite long so that you can sew this to the body. Repeat this all again so that you have 2 larger fins. Now we will be making the back fins, and these are extremely similar to the front fins. They are just a little smaller. So begin by making a magic ring and single crocheting 6 times into it. Now we will increase into each of the 6 stitches. Now I am trimming the center tail, and we will be doing the exact same folding and single crocheting through technique that we did with the larger fins. So repeat the exact same method as you did the larger fins. So you're inserting your hook into the bottom and top stitches and single crocheting through. And make 2 of these small fins. Now we will be assembling the turtle, so make sure that you have your needle and scissors. We will begin by sewing the head to the body. So make sure you grab the head, grab the yarn tail of the head and insert this into the needle. Grab the body and position the head. You want to position it just under where the lip is and where the yarn tail for the brown shell is. So what you'll be doing is you'll insert your needle into a stitch of the join line between the green and the brown, and you will pull your needle all the way through. Then what you'll be doing is you'll be inserting your needle into the next stitch on the head. And pull that all the way through. And again, you will be inserting your needle into the join line and just pulling through. You'll be doing this for about 3 to 4 stitches on the join line, and then you will notice that you will need to start inserting your needle into the body. So all you need to do is insert your needle into the closest stitch on the body. This doesn't have to be perfect, just the closest one. And again, insert your needle into the next stitch on the head. So you are going from the stitch on the head to the stitch on the body, and just slowly making your way around the whole head until it is completely sewn shut. Once you are done, weave your needle through the body, so just push it through and then cut off the tail. So now what I like to do, so you don't see that harsh gap in the rim of the shell, I will insert that tail into the needle. And what I will do is I will insert that in the front loop. Well, technically it's the back loop, but when you're looking at it from this angle, it looks like the front loop. But I will insert that into the next 2 stitches, so technically the back loop of the stitch. And this just makes it so that there isn't that kind of harsh gap or dip in the rim. And then I will pull the tail through the body, and what I will do is I will just get my needle and just sort of like shimmy it about, just pull it out a little bit, and it kind of creates like a very nice seam on the rim. So now we will be sewing on the 2 larger fins, and these will go on the side of the head. So they won't be going on the bottom, they'll be going at the top. So again, you'll be inserting your yarn towel into the eye of the needle. Position your fins. And again, very similar to how we did the head, we will be inserting our needle into the join line between the green and the brown and pulling your needle through. Then you will insert your needle onto the next stitch of the fin. And you will be repeating this about 5 to 6 times. You won't do this down the whole entire fin, just for about 5 stitches. Once you are done, weave your needle through the body, so just push it through the body. And then just cut. You are more than welcome to tie a knot here and then cut, and then just very gently poke the knot through back into the body for more security. You will be repeating the same thing for the second larger fin. So now we'll be sewing on the smaller fins, and the method is the exact same, but these will be attached to the bottom of the body. When positioning the smaller fins, make sure they are 4 to 5 stitches between the large fin. So you will do the exact same technique of inserting into the join line and then back into the next stitch on the fin and just repeating that. And you will do that for both fins so that they are secure onto the body. Once you are done sewing, any tails you may have, just push them through the body and trim them. And you are now all done with your turtle. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and make sure to subscribe for more.